Hey, hi everyone. Welcome back to Dom Time. Talking about right to work laws. Michigan, my goodness, it just came in very, very quickly this week. And we saw violence, we saw all kinds of things as Michigan became the 24th state to go right to work. Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Delaware are not. What are some of the repercussions if you're not a right to work state? One of the reasons why Michigan went right to work is because the increasing pressure they had of jobs going to Indiana right next door, due to the fact that Indiana has become a right-to-work state. In studio with me is John Fetterman from Pennsylvania Right to Work and the Loyal Opposition Party in Philadelphia and former candidate for mayor. John, thanks for joining us. What's the repercussion for people in this area then that we know of, a la what happened with Michigan as far as jobs out of the Philadelphia area?
There's so many job opportunities that we never hear about because companies go to Indiana and to the other three right-to-work states. We lose tremendous opportunities, and this hurts the workers. This hurts the unemployed.
All right, let me challenge you on that. I know that the states that are not right to work have a higher unemployment. They're at about 8.7. It's 6.9% for the states that are right to work. But the wages are lower in the right to work states. So we have more jobs, but they're not good jobs. That's what the argument is.
Well, we don't know. I mean, statistics can be manipulated. We would have to look at which jobs we're talking about because those could include jobs that were before it was right to work. We simply don't know. Anything can be manipulated, but here's the bottom line. The bottom line is we believe in free choice. If people want to join a union, if they believe that will be in their best interest, we're all for that. We simply don't want compulsory union dues and compulsory union membership.
Now, there's a website too. Where do people go if they want this list that you have of companies who purportedly would have come to Pennsylvania, but they choose to go somewhere else because of no right to work?
So if you go to Google or a search engine, put in PA Right to Work Inc. Susan Dawson-Staub is their executive director, and we can get you lists of so many companies that have bypassed Pennsylvania and gone to other states because we're not a worker-friendly state.
Now, do you see this coming up with this national surge? I mean, Michigan, people have to understand when we put it in context, it's the home of maybe the toughest union of all, the United Auto Workers, although Philadelphia is right there with it, some of the unions here. Do you see this playing itself out in Pennsylvania politics?
Well, there's no question that it will, but if we have right to work, I think we're going to see more people employed. We're going to see happier people. Remember, union membership 20 years ago was about 20%. Now nationwide, it's about 12%. And people realize the unions may not have their best interests. All you need to do, Dom, is read the Philadelphia newspapers, look on the covers, read about the union leaders, and all the money they're spending, all the money that they have. What about the workers? I mean, who's the 1%? Is it the union leaders or is it the CEOs?
But here's the argument. If we don't have unions, the argument is that we'll be crushed. Workers will be crushed. The middle class will be crushed. We need to have unions in order to preserve that.
Unions were very valuable in the time of Norma Ray. In these days, when people have the internet, people have choices, people can work remotely, leave it to them to decide. It's their choice.
John Fetterman, how does this play out in Philadelphia specifically? I've told listeners on my show, and we can tell them right here, viewers on TV, about the Pestronk brothers.
Right.
These are two guys who are kind of out of town coming back to Philadelphia. They have this fortress over at 12th and Spring Garden in Philadelphia. They've had to do things like fake they're bringing in supplies the front door and bring a giant crane in the back door to put a building up, but they seem to be beating back the unions in Philadelphia.
Well, let me say that that was a very violent situation. And the Pestronk brothers did overwhelmingly have unionized workers. They had a small percentage that were not. And there are videos. You can go to YouTube, and there are videos out there that provide incontrovertible evidence that the building and trades people had beaten up people. There was one instance in which a fence was taken against a non-unionized member. He was smashed against a brick wall, and he passed out. Now, I will say, thankfully, right now there is a truce, and the two parties have come together, and the Pestronk brothers are now developing something around Broad and Spruce. The sides are working together. I believe that in the future, the labor will work with the developers in Philadelphia because neither side is the enemy. They need to work with each other, and I believe they will. The way that we get through right to work is to demonstrate that it benefits everybody. Ultimately, it benefits the workers. Because if we don't have entrepreneurs, whether it's a developer or, hey, manufacturer, what does that
Right.
word mean? We
Right.
haven't seen them in Philadelphia in years. If we have them working together, Philadelphia can be a world-class
All right,
city.
coming up, we're going to talk about that, but we're going to talk about the newest tactic of some unions in Philadelphia. You know those giant inflatable rats? First of all, are they all made in the USA? Second of all, how about a crying baby over a loudspeaker for 7 hours? That's the latest development to get their way. Straight ahead with Dom here on Dom Time.